Hi, it's Samantha. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing the monthly wrap up for June. I'm going to dive right into it because I read quite a few books and I have lots of things to say, and I really don't want to take up too much of space on this corner of the interweb with this. So the first book I read this month I did a vlog for, and that is City of Bones. This is a reread for me. If you don't know what this is about shadow hunters. And shadow hunters being a group of people who hunt demons, and Clary, a teenager who gets caught up in shadow hunters because her mother is kidnapped, and it spirals into there. If you've never read these books, this is where you start with the Cassandra Clare books. This is where we start. This was written in like the 2000s, and as far as oldie but goodie, it is definitely still a goodie. My husband differs in opinion because he read these books as well, but I think it's still a goodie. That's all that matters on this channel, right? So yeah, we reread this. Super good. You can go check out the vlog. I will link it below. Okay, the next book I read was a buddy read with, it's a bookstagram buddy, Jesse, and it is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. This book is good. This book is good. 5 stars for sure. Didn't quite care for Nora, who is the main character. She's a successful agent in the publishing industry. Basically what happens is that her sister, her best buddy sister, convinces her to go on a vacation with her. Her sister Libby is currently pregnant and she just needs a break. Also, they've been kind of growing apart in the past few years, and they're wanting to use this vacation to get closer together again. So they go on this vacation. While on this vacation to a small town, they meet up with Charlie, who is also an agent in the publishing industry. I think he's an editor. And obviously romance ensues. I think the best part about this book was Libby and Nora's relationship really takes a forefront in this book, and I absolutely love that you get a sister relationship as well as the romantic relationship that goes on. Secondly, Charlie is top tier. Charlie is a top tier love interest. He holds this book up all on his own. Supportive partner who would never get in the way of Nora's success as an agent and encourages her to pursue her dreams, even when it's detrimental to their budding relationship. And I absolutely love it. Oh, and the last point is I love that Emily Henry plays on the cliche of small town Hallmark movies. Nora herself has had like 3 boyfriends who have moved to or have gone to small towns in order to like do business, and fallen in love with someone in the small town and broken up with her and just been like, I am now a small town man. All right, yeah, because Hallmark. And Emily Henry plays on that cliche. Nora's cursed with ex-boyfriends who do that, and then she takes a vacation to a small town and falls in love with a man, and it's absolutely hilarious. I love that about this book. Emily Henry's banter, top tier. She's a queen of banter, and I love it. Okay, so there's that. The next book I read was Twisted Love by Hannah Huang. I don't have much to say about this because I was not a fan. This is like a 2-star romance. I know that this series is super popular on BookTube and Book Talk and Bookstagram. Tell me why, because I personally did not enjoy it. It was very just blah, you know? It was just blah. The kink wasn't that great. If I'm gonna read a dark romance on Kindle Unlimited, kink's gotta be up. It's a priority. But no, it wasn't really great. This is about a female photographer. She starts to develop feelings for her brother's best friend. That's the kind of romance it is a brother's best friend. Her brother's best friend, however, is kind of twisted love. He is a super genius. He has a vendetta against somebody. He wants to take revenge on them. He has a lot of money. And like, honestly, it was kind of vanilla, and it was kind of boring, and it was kind of plain, and I didn't have any spark with this book. However, tell me if like the other ones are better. I'm currently reading Terms and Conditions, which is the second book in the Dreamland Billionaire series, and I liked it a lot better than the first book. I went ahead and took a chance and decided to start the second book. So tell me if that's this case, that like Twisted Love just isn't the greatest in the trilogy, and I need to read Twisted Hate or Twisted Lies. Tell me down in the comments if you've read those books. The next book I read was, A River of Silver by Sarah Chakraborty. This is a continuation of the David Bought trilogy, which I absolutely loved. That's like a 5-star trilogy for me. It's one of the best Middle Eastern romances I've read. Yeah, I can confidently say that. Definitely. Top tier. This anthology was amazing. So it's basically all the short stories of all the characters in the series, before, after, during the series, all like the little conversations you didn't get to read about in the original trilogy, you get to read about here. All like the background stuff that happens, you get to read about it here, and all like the history stuff that happens in that series, you get to read about it here. So basically, if you've ever had a question about what happened in that series, it's answered here. If you have a favorite character, you're gonna get more of it here. If you have, best part about this book is that the characters that you don't like in the trilogy, you get to hear more about their backstory and kind of feel for them, and I really enjoyed that. I feel like lately authors have been doing that thing where they go back to really popular series and rewrite stuff. Suzanne Collins. And has not been like the greatest, most successful thing. However, this one, 5-star, it did a great job. I highly recommend it. I know the audiobook is out now, but the book in itself will be out in October. So pick yourself up a copy, add to the trilogy. Yeah, it was amazing. Absolutely loved it. The next book I read, if I didn't mention it, River of Silver was a arc from NetGalley. And this next book is as well. It's Fox Silver by William Kent Kruger. So I read This Tender Place, or This Tender Land by William Kent Kruger in 2019. Say that 3 times fast. In 2019, absolutely loved it. Top tier, favorite book of the year. This book, Fox Creek, is a continuation on his crime series. Is the O'Connor series, right? This is number 19. However, you can go you can go in and read it as a standalone, which I did. The first part of the book introduces you to all the characters in the setting perfectly. I did not have any issue with having not read any of his other books. This book was pretty freaking amazing, I'm not gonna lie to you. So this isn't a own person's book. However, they do discuss Indigenous. O'Connor himself, the character, is married to an Indigenous woman, a Native woman. He is part of that community. William Kent Kruger is not, from my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he is not. So it's not an owns person's view, I think is how you say that. He's not Native. He's writing about Natives, though. He does mention in the beginning of the book that he did interviews, he did discussions, he did a lot of research into doing this, and he names the people that he talked to about this, which is the best that you can do when you're talking about something that you don't personally identify with, right? So fair. William Kent Kruger, good job on you. This book was amazing. It goes in depth into like really beautiful spiritual ceremonies, okay, so we'll back up. The whole plot of this book is basically a like fox and hare hunt. There is a group of people, so O'Connor is a private PI, he's a private investigator. There's a group of people who are trying to hunt down this woman who had just earlier actually came into their town and went to do a sweat with the medicine man, I believe in this tribe, I can't pronounce it correctly, it's an image. I'll just pop the word over here, and you guys can tell me how to pronounce it. But the medicine man of the town, while she's there, a group of like almost like CIA kind of like special forces security guys show up and hunt her down. It sends off into a quest, not a quest, but like I said, like a hunt into the wilderness of Montana or Minnesota, if I am remembering correctly. So that is where we go, right? Because then O'Connor gets involved. His wife is part of all of that. Very interesting. However, the big part of this is the political commentary that goes along with this manhunt. And it is top tier, amazing. Wasn't expecting it all. It literally went from like your normal average PI book to James Bond. Like literally like 3 chapters. No, yeah, 100% loved it. It was a little bit slow paced in the middle, only because it gets kind of repetitive because you are in like the same setting and the same things are kind of happening. Like this group of people are being tracked by another group of people. So it gets a little bit of a slower pace in the middle of the book. However, still recommend it. It was great. A+. The next book I tried to read was Zodiac Academy, and I DNF'd it. A friend of mine did convince me that I need to continue reading it. So tell me as well in the comments if this is another book that I need to continue reading, because I've heard that you have to get to the third or fourth book. I don't know. I have to read like Oathbringer freaking next month. Like, I was supposed to read it this month. I don't know if I have the time to do that. So tell me, please, if I really need to continue. I already got so I'll finish this book. I'll finish this book because a friend told me that I needed to finish this book. So I will. All right. But when one of the main characters got filled up by a unicorn, I was like, no. I can't tell you much about this book because I literally have only read 30% of it before I DNF'd it. Like I said, it was very weird. There's two characters, they're twins, they get thrown into like this academy where literally every magical being you have ever thought of is alive, and then you kind of get like this weird airbender, like Avatar the Airbender thing, where like each person has like an elemental power, as well as like they're a mythical creature as well, like vampire or werewolf or shapeshifter or like a witch, I guess, and it's also based off of your zodiac. It's very weird, very confusing. I don't know how these characters are surviving in this world because they literally just like yanked them off the streets and was like, hey. But anyways, as you can tell, like I felt there was a reason why I DNF'd it. Valid reasons. The next book, the last book. I need to, okay. The last book we're talking about. I sped through all the other ones. The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah, which was the book of the month pick for last month. I heard great things about this book. However, this is like a 3-star. This is the middle of the road. I'm a fan of the David Bond trilogy, and this one really was reminiscent of that in the fact that this is also a Jinn desert-based fantasy. And sadly, David Bond trilogy did it better, a lot better. This one was a little bit boring. Definitely suffers from first book syndrome. This is a trilogy. Suffers from first book syndrome in the way that like there's only one character that I would say had any form of character development. The plot was very slow. In fact, I think the most action you get is in like the last 30 pages. And yeah, I just wasn't a fan of this book as much. You can get the full review on Instagram. I went fully in depth into like how I feel about this book. This was a 3-star. However, I've heard other people have really loved it. So if this is something that you want to pick it up. Yeah, no, I did annotate a little bit. Aisha was my favorite character. If you're planning on reading this book, she's one of the 40 thieves. I can tell you a quick synopsis, which is basically the Midnight Merchant, who is Luli, who is basically kind of like the main character. This is a multiple POV book, but she is the main center, right? She's the Midnight Merchant. She goes out into the desert. She finds magical objects. She brings them back. She sells them. The Sultan catches on to this, figures out who she is, blackmails her into going on a quest to find a magical object, and she grabs a bunch of ragtag group of people, including the prince, a member of the 40 thieves, and a djinn, and goes into the desert to find this magical item. Obviously, hijinks occurs, and yeah, that's what happens. You kind of get like a dark prince, light prince sort of thing going on as well. The prince has a brother who is very sus the entire time. That's why when the last 50 pages hits, you're like, no, duh. But anyways, this was a 3-star book. No, yeah. So my reading month, kind of Not gonna lie to you guys, it was kind of So I have hopes for next month. I have hopes and dreams for next month. But anyways, that's it. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing. I really just like blazed through all of those books. If you want more in-depth reviews, my handle's down below for Instagram, check it out, or Goodreads, either one. I post on both. Also, all of my links to support the channel are down below, and don't forget to subscribe so that you can see more content from me later on in the month. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.